I also had a predisposition to emotional illness, to, addiction or cycles of abuse. And statistically, that's what should happen to me, going from the house I did and moving out at such a young age. And so I didn't want to be a statistic, and that meant I kind of had some kind of plan. But the thing that really inspired me was a bunny named Caramel. This bunny was raised with chickens, and it thought it was a chicken, and so it kind of, it didn't hop like normal, it kind of wobbled and collected its food. And it grew up and it sat on the nests for the hens, and it would lay eggs. It would not lay them, it would hatch them. There we go. And it really scared me when I moved out at 15, because I was like, what if I'm a bunny that thinks it's a chicken? I was basically wondering, does trauma keep me from ever getting to know my nature? Would I get to know who I was, or would my trauma obscure my ability to act naturally, to know who I was naturally? And so for me, coming up with strategies around that was what I call going down and in. Another dumb thing that made me think of this was an orange. I was peeling an orange one day, and I was like, wait a minute, the peel is not the orange. The inside is the orange. And what if my psychological responses, my mistrust, my suspicion, all of these things were my way of protecting myself from the environment around me, the same way a peel's job is to protect the orange from the environment around it. And so I stopped trying to associate with the peel my thoughts, my feelings, these temporary things that were really intense, and I started to try and go down and in to the inside. Because I realized I didn't pay any attention to it. I spent all of my time thinking I was my thoughts. I spent all my time thinking I was my feelings. And I wasn't. I was something else. I was something inside. And again, writing really helped me do that. It was frustrating not having access to therapy, not having traditional support systems. And so 22 years ago, I wanted to see if a lot of the tools I developed for myself would work for other kids without therapy. Not because I'm against therapy. I think it's great. Just not everybody has access to it. And that's unacceptable. There's other things that can work. There's other things we should be doing for one another. There are other systems that can help support people. And so the Inspiring Children Foundation was us starting to look at how do we create mental health interventions in non-traditional ways, but still be results-oriented, because we want people to live. And so we now have one of the highest success rates of helping kids with suicidal ideation. I'm really proud of the foundation. What we do there is focus on behavioral tools. So like I talked about making an ally out of your anxiety, you start writing down the things, thoughts, feelings, and actions that precede anxiety. That's like a behavioral tool. And so we started using behavioral tools in group settings, in groups of like 30 people. It wasn't like one-on-one therapy. And so we recently took this into the metaverse, into virtual reality, basically. It's really cool. You get to go in virtually and anonymously. It's live. You meet with a live trained guide, but it isn't therapists, because right now we're 500,000 therapists short in America, and we think that if everybody were to seek help, we'd be 5 million therapists short. So that's a really bad bottleneck. A lot of people are seeking therapy, which I think is great, and I want people to seek therapy, but it's just not accessible to everybody. And so this is a tool that hopefully, and we're a clinical research platform. We just published 2 studies showing we're as effective as traditional therapy. We just got a big grant from the National Institute of Health because of our science. So yeah, it's called Inner World. It's pretty neat. You go in there virtually. You'll be in groups of 30 people, and you'll learn one skill at a time. So if you have anxiety, you'll start working on anxiety. If you have social anxiety, you'll start working on that. It's kind of one skill at a time.
Check it out, people. I know that